Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video, we will talk about offline address books in Exchange Server. Offline address book is a local copy of address lists which are consumed by Outlook clients. So in case of Exchange connection is dropped on Outlook, the only option to view the address list or the user's email addresses or get any kind of user details of the organization, the offline address book is the only option available for Outlook clients. The administrators can configure which address lists are included in the offline address book and how frequently these are being generated and how frequently these are being updated. By default, when we install Exchange Server, the Exchange application creates a offline address book called default offline address book on the server. This is also called default OAB. The offline address book generation or creation is controlled by OAB Generator Assistant, which runs under Microsoft Exchange Mailbox Assistant service. The OAB generation occurs in one of the arbitration mailbox, which is also called organizational mailbox. We can also create multiple such arbitration mailbox and assign it to generate offline address book. So by default, Outlook clients are configured to download this offline address book every 24 hours. And the Exchange server updates this offline address book every 8 hours. So let's go to our Exchange server and see how this all works. Let's go to services. And if we go to Exchange services, so this is the service which manages the offline address book generation. And if I go back to partial and do get offline address book to see the available address book, you can see we have one address book and which contains the default global address list. This will be up to date here. If I use the same command and select the name and also type generating mailbox, we can see this is the offline address book and this is the arbitration mailbox which is responsible to generate the offline address book. So this is the arbitration mailbox or organizational mailbox which is by default assigned with offline address book generation role. However, we can change this to another arbitration mailbox or create new arbitration mailbox just for offline address book generation, wherein we have thousands of users on the organization and we want to separate this role from this particular arbitration mailbox. We will see more about how to manage offline address book in the upcoming videos. So let's see how we can create a new offline address book using PowerShell. To create a new offline address book, we can use new offline address book commandlet and provide the name. I will call this as Blue Mango, and I will also include the address list, which is our Blue Mango global address list, and I will hit enter. As you can see, this has successfully created our new offline address book. Let's use get offline address book now. As you can see, we have the new offline address book called Blue Mango. So if we use the same command to see the generating mailbox, this is also generating using the same arbitration mailbox, which is used by default. To manually update the offline address book on the server level, we can use update offline address book and provide the identity of the offline address book, which is our Blue Mango, and hit enter. This will update the specific offline address book on the Exchange server. However, if you want to update all the offline address book, you can do get offline address book and pipe to update offline address book. So this will update all the available offline address book in the Exchange server. So let's assign this offline address book to the mailboxes. If we do get mailbox, and let's say we want to see top 10 mailboxes as a result, and let's select FT name, and let's also select offline address book. As you can see, these users do not have any offline address book assigned as of now. The offline address book can be assigned in two ways. The first one will be going to ECP. Let's go to servers and go to database. If I click on edit and go to client settings, here you see offline address books. So let's select the offline address book as default offline address book. So this will assign the offline address book of default offline address book for all the mailboxes which are stored in this particular database. However, if you want to change or assign the offline address book on the mailbox level, you can do it using PowerShell by using the commandlet called set mailbox and provide the identity. I'll take Alexander Reed as example. And in the offline address book parameter, let's provide the offline address book which we want to assign here. So I will say I want to assign Blue Mango for this user. And if I do the get mailbox again, as you can see, the offline address book has been assigned to this particular user. So if you want to change the offline address book using PowerShell for all the mailbox database, you can do so using get mailbox database and select the name of the database, and you can also provide the offline address book. As you can see, the DB01 has the value of offline address book, which is set to default offline address book. Let's copy this. Let's set the same for all the other databases using set mailbox database and provide offline address book with the name default offline address book and hit enter. So if I go back to this command and see, all the databases are now having the default offline address book as the offline address book. So if we go back and refresh this page and go to client settings, the default offline address book has been added as the offline address book on this database. So that's it for this video. I hope this was informative and see you on the next one.